Welcome to the She Births Show, a place to inspire your birth, evolve your parenting, and help you live a life you love. I'm Nadine Richardson, your host and creator of the scientifically verified birth education program, She Births. I'm also a mother, yoga teacher, doula, author, and speaker. At She Births, we have supported thousands of families around the world for over 13 years with our unique program, and our vision is to make birth better for every family around the world so that everyone experiences a beautiful birth no matter what unfolds. Not only do we help people have beautiful births, but we also give them the skills and the philosophy to enjoy pregnancy and make parenting easier. As well as our world-class birth ed, taken either face-to-face or online, in our app, we also have a free pregnancy guide designed to help you feel calm, connected, and inspired as you and your baby grow. We have a doula matching service, the perfect way to ensure you and your partner are completely supported throughout the whole journey. And we have our Soul Mama Circles, which are the perfect postpartum network to help optimize your mindset and design your life in parenthood. Remember, if you like what you hear today, subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. If you're a parent, about to be one, fellow health professional, join us now for an inspirational deep dive into topics with experts around the globe. We hope you enjoy this special episode. So many people are encouraged to tell their birth story these days, and I think it is fantastic, mostly. What frustrates me, however, about the telling of a story is that there's a lack of empowerment that a listener will bring to that conversation. Opportunities are missed. People are encouraged to share their story as though the experience of birth is only happening on this purely physical level. And as a doula, I suppose my role is to support not only physically, but also psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, to care for the whole person and the interdynamic relationships of that family. You could say I would say what I do is transpersonal doulaing. And as an educator, I'm really trying to share stories with you that can demonstrate a perception of beauty in that evolutionary process. And the real power of a birth story comes from the deeper sharing the shadow and sharing the work. This story is a prime example of a couple doing the work, a beautiful She Births family, Donna, Adam, baby Varli, and Billie. And I first met them during a weekend course here in Byron Bay. Really embodied couple, both surfers, a great bodyworker and carpenter. And, you know, their story is one that sort of talks about allowing the body to be a guide and lead the way in preparation and in healing, where the body is a portal for us to learn, to let go of any beliefs and ideas that no longer serve us. And this has certainly been my process in healing and growing. Body work and shadow work are so important in the motherhood journey. Our tears, our letting go, our crises, they're all opportunities for powerful transformation. Just like pain is a portal for power. In our story today, we talk about how Donna and Adam scripted their birth and even scripted each trimester of the pregnancy, and how they consciously chose to rewrite their family lineage, the family narrative. We talk about the labor, which was very long, very challenging. It was very irregular in its contraction patterns and even stopped. We talk about using active birthing strategies like duck walking to help with an asynclitic head presentation, where a baby's head is tilted to the side and not in their little dive bomb chin to chest, where the back of the head fits snugly on the cervix, off to the side, and working with that. We talk about osteos helping with lactation and the partner and the doula's role throughout preparation, labour, birth and post. So you've probably heard it before. I often describe childbirth as a psychosomatic, sexual karmic, family of origin, spiritual experience. I'm going to add in that word spiritual and collective experience. One of those things that we so often forget is that when you're giving birth, other people around the world are also giving birth. And that's what really struck me recently about COVID. I've just come through COVID, and I have to say, like a lot of women say to me after their births, I found it to be a much more psychological and emotional process than expected, much more psychological than physical. Even though I was incredibly well prepared physically, I wish someone had told me that it was going to be a little bit more psyche-emotional. And the lessons for me were just like those during birth. I watched as fear made my symptoms worse. I was having this sort of fever where I could hear and see people's faces and voices are projecting onto me about my health. And as I remembered and saw them, it really amplified restrictions in my chest and pain in my body. They had to be confronted. And I really had to use all of my she-birth's principles to get through the first night alone. I used faith, relaxation, pleasure, and beauty, even the orgasmatron and holding a crystal in one hand really helped me so much. Mantra, affirmation helped so much. And what really also helped was knowledge. The knowledge that 48% of my DNA is actually made up of ancient viruses. So potentially an appropriate collective cellular change is likely taking place around the planet and to me. A fever is actually a psychoneuroimmunological process that's occurring. This is a new field of health science in the last sort of few years. It's growing, and this psychoneuroimmunological sort of discipline is all about the intersection of many disciplines. So it's transdisciplinary, and it primarily looks at the interactions between the nervous system and the immune system and the relationships between the mind and our health. And I wonder if this pandemic is creating a cellular change and a spiritual upgrade. We're aware of our individual and also aware of the collective. Something big is really going on. And I know it's not a common perception, but I suppose neither are my opinions about birth. I just wanted to put that out there, and maybe it'll help anyone before they get COVID or help you understand your COVID experience wherever you are. But ultimately, I really hope that you and your families are all safe and sound. I hope you are journeying well. I hope you're embracing all that comes your way and all the different parts of you, the shadow and the light, in a graceful, enlightening way. And I really hope you enjoy this story, and I hope you have a beautiful 2022. All my love to you, and I'll see you soon. So I have to just, by way of intro, I suppose, say I really wanted you on the show because the moment I saw Donna's Instagram, I was like, fuck, she writes so well about birth. Like, that's the shit, man. Like, that's what we want. We want to talk about, like, going into the shadow and facing ourselves and the transformation and the not so perfect easy births and, you know, the teamwork and, you know, a partner being a rock. Like, yeah, you wrote so well. And I suppose maybe we could start, if I could read one of your posts, the post that you wrote when, I think it was just before you went into labour.
Yeah.
3 of 3, this one. Yeah. All right, so this is what it says. I am traveling to the cosmos to collect my child and bring them earthside. I don't know the way. There are no directions and no one can give me a map. I can't predict the turns I will take or what will be required of me. All I know is that I trust in each moment. I will know the way when I am in it. My baby knows the way home into my arms. I trust my baby to guide me. I listen to my baby and my body. I'm deeply connected. I have been initiated this whole pregnancy. I have listened deeply, and I will again and again birth.
Cool. And I wrote that at probably, I reckon I wrote that around 20 weeks that came through.
Wow.
But, you know, as you do when you write and then you forget about it and then you come back to it, and my notes is a shambles of inner musings, but I came back to that just after I'd done that shoot. And I was like, yeah, now's the time to speak those words.
Yeah.
Because I was very, I suppose, guarded in our birth and how we were going to birth and home birth. I was quite guarded in my boundaries and our boundaries on what we allowed into our field. I never really put it out there to, you know, the world that we were home birthing and what we were doing, because it was a very private journey until we traveled the journey. It was a very private journey for us both. And then once we traveled it, then, you know, the words kind of come through and everything.
Totally. And I think boundaries make for a great birth experience, whether it's at home or in the hospital. You have to be very discerning around who you express your deepest heart's desires and longings around your birth. And that provides a safe container. And everyone's different in that. So I totally respect that. And I think that's a great teaching for people. But what does it mean to you that line, I've been initiated this whole pregnancy? Like, what was that initiation for you? Or what was even the calling? Let's start with conception. Like, what was the calling to become parents or to have a baby?
So I'd wanted to have children for a while. I'd never been really around children. I didn't really know, you know, newborns or anything like that. I just had a calling to be a mother. And a calling, we've kind of just had a really calling to bring a soul in. Mm-hmm. And Adam, until you did your coaching, he did some men's coaching at the beginning of last year. Yeah. That's when we it was just around after we got engaged, after you were doing the coaching, and we got engaged in April last year. And then all of a sudden it was kind of like, that's that discussion of children and begun, and knowing that children were going to happen soon. And then after we got married in September, that's when we kind of went, and we knew we were always going to do a conscious conception, like a nice long build up. So kind of all of last year was a journey of looking at shadows, looking at things that didn't serve us. And we kind of created a container after we got married we didn't know how long. There was no set amount of time. We didn't go, we want to make a baby in a month, or it wasn't about time for us. It was about when we felt ready. So we went through, you know, we did blood tests and all of that. But last year was a lot of both of us looking at shadows and looking at patterns and looking at things that just wanted to purge. So we kind of just engaged with the soul and we're like, okay, let it all go. Like, let's just let everything that doesn't serve us and doesn't serve us becoming parents just fall away.
Yeah.
He's just having a little dance, which was pretty rough. Like,
really?
From when we got married for a couple of months, it was really, I felt really unsettled, and I really didn't feel like I settled into the marriage for a few months.
I just want to highlight that point, because actually it's a thing that's, again, not spoken about, the shadow side of marriage.
Yeah.
And how there's a grieving that can often come with marriage as well, right? Yeah. But keep going, please share.
Yeah, it's all about shadow work. But yeah, I didn't know who I was. I was in a really funny time I was going really slow in my career. I suppose just all the COVID stuff contributed to that. Bodywork is kind of through that time where COVID hit, people weren't going for bodywork, and probably the things that people wanted to do, needed to do most for their energy field and their bodies, they weren't doing. So it kind of gifted me a very internal year last year and time where not much work happened for me, making money work, but a lot of inner work and preparation for pregnancy and birth happened for me. And Adam was, still working, never affected by COVID, which we're really grateful for with his carpentry. But yeah, it was, and also I got to really enjoy myself and surf a lot and rediscover who I was without money and without an identity around money and needing to be needed by people.
Love that. That's so powerful. And, I suppose we're going to be talking to people today that are interested in manifesting, and I just think it's incredibly important when we set goals and affirmations and this manifestation kind of rituals that people go to, that often there's a much deeper truth when you're not receiving necessarily the work, that there's the invitation to go in or to do that work, or what you discovered, to discover who you were beyond identity, work and money. Such an important sense of value was coming from that. So, yeah, I just love that about you. So thanks for sharing that.
And right, when you're a mother, things change. You're not getting paid to nurse a baby, to feed a baby, to do these things around the house. And I think it's a really big identity shift in mothers when they stop working and they stop the career, and all of a sudden their career is this tiny little human that's not paying them. Yeah. And it's a huge shift. And I know a lot of women struggle in that
culture. I think it's one of there's a few core reasons behind postpartum depression. Of course, depletion, traumatic birth. But one of the big ones is women working really, really late and not spending time transitioning into a new identity. And then amidst a culture that doesn't value parenthood. It makes it very hard to have self-worth and value. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah. What about you, Adam? What was the journey for you in becoming a dad?
It's Billie. Well, like Donna said, I did some men's coaching last year, and that really opened my eyes, because it was sort of a crossroad, in our relationship. Whereas Donna was like ready to have children, and I was like not really ready, but I wasn't getting any younger. I was 38, so. I was like, I didn't have the best, say, family life growing up. So I was sort of scarred from that from a young age, And a lot of my friends, they all had children, and saying how fantastic it was, how great it is to be a dad. It's the best thing you'll ever do. And there was just nothing really there for me, I definitely was still scarred from my childhood and what had happened to me. And I was still holding on to that, but I was unaware of that until I dove deep into that shadow work, like you said, and dove in with my mentor, which I was able to see it so clearly and work through it, with him as my guidance, and then, leaning on Donna as well for certain things. And we also did a couples course as well, which helped massively, understanding what we need as individuals and as a couple. Still to this day, it's still very imperative for the dynamics of the family, of what everyone needs, So going through that journey was massive. And then once we got engaged, I was just, within a week, I was like, all right, I'm ready to get married, and I rang my best mate and he said, go for it. Have you got a ring? And I said, I don't. He goes, you need to get a ring. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, I don't want to go buy one. He goes, well, just, I don't know, get something sorted. So I made a timber ring, which Donna.
Oh my God, how beautiful.
To this day, and then rang her mum and dad, and they were crying, and they were over the moon, and then we got married through COVID, and that was like another. We won't go into that, but we just went for it and did it, because at the end of the day, it was we want to get married and start a family. So then once we were married, it was just pretty much within the next week. I was like, let's have a baby.
Wow.
And then that's when we opened the container of like, okay, let's Donna did a Panchakarma. We worked with our naturopath, and I was doing working on non-ejaculation for at least 2 to 3 weeks in a month, and then obviously all the herbs and vitamins and stuff like that, and doing all the fitness stuff, surfing, Pilates, yoga, all that stuff as well, leading up to it, which definitely helped without a doubt. Because I was within myself, I was like, oh, okay, I'm 38, I'm a bit older, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. There was no expectation at all, but just sort of in the back of my mind, there was sort of like, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And we had to go to a GP to start with, and she was like, oh, if it doesn't happen, we'll just do a sperm count. And I was like, well, okay, hopefully it's all good. And it was, we were shocked how quick it happened, to say the least.
How quick did it happen then after you'd done all that work and that prep in the body?
Well,
so it was
the first month. So we
first month straight up.
We made love twice, and we know it was the second one. We knew it was. We used the ovulation sticks so we could find the the peak ovulation day. But when we were making love, I could feel that spirit there, like above our heads. I could really feel, and I was actually in communication with that spirit baby through my writing in the lead up to it. And hey, I had irregular periods too. So when I went to my GP was like, well, I saw a holistic GP. She was like, oh, your periods are irregular. You're going to struggle having a baby. And we both just decided to not take on anyone else's story and write our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to take that and then run with it and make that your story. But we just wanted to.
It's one of my the biggest frustrations, I suppose, I have in the sort of care provider, or one of the care provider angst things I have is the amount of projection onto people's bodies and futures and births, One of my biggest gripes is the lack of care amongst a lot of care providers, because there's the oxymoron there. And the other is the projecting. Like, find a way to communicate data and information that does not communicate a belief and a projection into somebody's subconscious and mind.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to do that work of owning your own story, writing your own story. And I love that you honour that dialogue with the spirit baby, because the 3 times I've conceived, absolutely, I felt that soul. And my partners felt the soul like come in those conception moments. And you do feel the presence of a soul, like kind of like knocking, like I'm coming. I really want to come through. I'm and they're hanging around. And I think a lot of women just feel this like, this longing in their hearts to have a child, or partners too. But yeah, if you just maybe even expand a little bit, you can even dialogue with that soul and notice that it's not all about you. There's something wanting to come through, and sometimes they want to go as well. And that's part of the journey too.
Yeah. And also, so once we did, so we didn't decide to early test. So we decided to wait 2 weeks to actually do a pregnancy test. And I know a lot of people do early test, but we didn't. I actually knew the next morning I woke up and I felt sensations in my cervix, and I was like, whoa, I think I'm pregnant. And that was the Thursday, the next morning.
Cool.
Crazy.
And so then we decided to just really let go until we decided to test 2 weeks later. And we got a negative test, that first test, and it was a big shock. And for me, it was a big shock because I thought, oh, you do the test and the fairy tale and it's positive and and so it was a very flawed test. We did it in the afternoon. The surf was pumping, so we weed and then we let.
No, you wait.
Surf is way more important.
I weed
in the cup.
And then the surf was pumping. So we went surfing and then came home and it was negative. And we were very shocked. Yeah. But also I was like, that was a really flawed test.
We should try again. Yeah.
So we decided to wait. We didn't want to test again. So we decided again to wait another week. And we'll be like, let's just wait another week. And I will just do lots of creative things to either bring on a bleed and allow my bleed to cut, because I had long cycles. So I was like, maybe I'm just having long cycles. So I decided to let go and decided to do creative things to bring on a bleed, and actually channeled a little poem from Varli, which I said then every single day of my pregnancy in the morning. And still I say it now to get him to sleep. That same little poem around, you know, it's safe to be on earth. We're here to help and guide you. All of that stuff. And yeah, and then we got the positive test a week later. So, but it was very clear, like it was very clear the changes in my body and the smell of your urine changes and all of that. So
breathing through your nose changes, your boobs, everything kind of changes. I just remember going for a jog and I was like, I must be pregnant. Like I can't breathe like through my nose, like those mucous membranes expanding. But that's really amazing, that poem to Varli, because it's really similar to, there's a Vedic prayer that I don't actually know the Sanskrit words for because it comes through an initiator, a meditation teacher in the Vedic meditation community, but lots of our babies have been given it. And at some of the births I've been to, the Vedic meditation partners, dads, or the mums, if they know it, whisper it into the baby's ear. And it's very similar to what you say. It's like, you know, welcome to our family. This is a beautiful and safe space, and we're here to help you along the way, to help your life be happy. Just relax and enjoy. It's just beautiful that you're channeling that, you know, and it's there as this ancient wisdom and a beautiful gift to our children. So special, so special. So you were pregnant. Great. Were you guys living in a van then?
So we weren't living in a van. We were living in Sunshine Beach renting.
Yep.
And gosh, it seems like a long time ago. So we had decided to put our house in Margaret River on the market. So actually 2 days after we got the positive pregnancy test, Adam jumped on a plane and went home to Margaret River.
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, one-way ticket because we didn't know how long it would take. And you went back to Margaret River to sort the house out and put it on the market.
Yeah, big.
So, and also Billie got sick. Billie got an unknown infection. So bang, initiation straight up. Initiation for Adam of holding boundaries in the place he grew up, and initiation for me learning ways that I hadn't been showing up for Billie as a mother, and just that lack of control of I can't fix her. All I can do is love her and hope that she's okay, which she was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Initiation straight off that.
Begins. And so it begins.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the start. Yeah. And it was when I went to Margaret River, it was like Donna said, there was, you know, family there and friends I hadn't seen and people sort of projecting things onto me straight away. But they didn't know that we were pregnant, but there was still sort of that was one of the things why we sort of left Margaret River as well, just to start a new life over here and just make our own life, you know, which we are now today. So it was the one-way ticket was like, it's not just a one-way ticket, it's like one-way ticket with COVID. So we died on if I can come back and when I can come back. So it was just like, just go, because there's a bigger picture here. And the bigger picture was the family and the family home. And that was the ultimate goal for me. And that's what drove me to go and do everything as quick as I could and see my mum as well and family over there at the same time. But to come back and then try and manifest a home which we did.
Yeah, which you did. Your home looks so beautiful. Also, a lot of nice carpentry, I have to say.
Thank you. More to come.
Lots more to come.
I'm sure.
That's all like earrings now, isn't it? The next stage.
My mind's busy at night now, which before it was like sleep deprived, just straight to sleep. And last night, I was awake at whatever time I woke up, 11 for about an hour, and then about 2 for about an hour, designing kitchens and laundries and things like that in my mind.
So cool. That's so nice. It's so nice.
I'm excited.
And Varli, we had to trust Varli to manifest somewhere for us to live too, to birth.
Yes.
In a crazy market, the market in Noosa was not chill.
No.
But this house was meant for us, and it just happened the way it was meant for us. And
he called
me. He called it in. We had to let go and trust and really just surrender to knowing that where we birthed would happen, like the home birth would happen where it was meant to happen, and it ended up being in our own home, which was amazing.
Yeah. So beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing. So you guys came to SheBirths pretty early in pregnancy, didn't you? How many weeks for you?
15.
15 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you were 15.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's probably one of the earliest we've ever had. And how was that experience? That's one of the most common questions I get. Should I do it earlier or later? What do you think?
Do it earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah,
100%,
I agree.
100%. Definitely all this stuff that we integrated from working with you, Nadine, is like just it takes months to integrate that and work out what works for you as individuals and as a couple. And you might work through something and go, actually, that's not working now, closer to, the time to birth. And we worked at the start, but maybe it's not going to work at the end. And you can go through all those motions, the highs and lows, and I don't want to say dramas, but just the highs and lows through pregnancy, together. And you got time to work through it. And if there is something that comes up, you can work on it individually or reach out to people like yourself or our doula and our midwife, which we contacted them very early as well, and they were a massive part of our journey. So doing all that really early, I strongly agree with what you're saying there. Definitely go for it. I would say earlier the better.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't have to be, pregnancy doesn't have to be this suppression, this kind of anxious building, freak out to 36 weeks experience. You can actually enjoy your pregnancy, work as a team from early on, be supported, and discover new ways. Start that initiation like you're doing into family, like you were doing. I think it's true.
Thriving pregnancies. That's what we want. Thriving pregnancies. People thriving.
And I remember you saying at SheBirths that you were scripting and you wrote a script, and we've got other podcasts on scripting as well, on first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. And I think that's where we get into the realm of mind and body, which I'm so obsessed with and really try to bring into SheBirths, that we have to work both ways. You can't just work top down, There's got to be an authenticity. There's got to be an embodied truth in that script that you're writing. So how did you find those scripts and what led to all of that? Tell us a bit about that, how you did that together.
So, I wrote one when we fell pregnant. I wrote the first script, and the first script was, I did one each trimester. And then in the third trimester, I also did one for birth. And so I said that after my morning meditation every morning, and most of it was around having a healthy, connected relationship, being comfortable to hold my boundaries, thriving in my health, and Varli growing really well. That was pretty much the gist of it throughout, and even just feeling like I have the energy and my body is, stretching and carrying Varli and comfortably carry. I wanted to have a comfortable pregnancy. I always got told you're going to hate it at the end. You're going to want him out, all of that. And I was like, I'm not going to tell myself that story either. And I just thrived until the very end. I mean, the morning I was in pre-labor, we were down the beach walking, and I had a swim, and you know, all the way to the end.
All the way to the end.
Perfect. And did you get involved in the scripting, Adam? Or did you?
I did at the start, but towards the end, I sort of.
We had the renos going on.
Yeah, I had all this going on behind me. So I was a bit preoccupied in my mind. I was still delving deeply into, you know, Varli coming through or whoever it was, our baby coming through. But at the start, I was writing the scripts and, you know, speaking those words to myself after the meditation myself. But then once we got into this home, it sort of, my mind was like, okay, it just clicked into gear. It's like, I need to get the family home ready for the birth. That was my ultimate goal, is having the space ready for Donna to give birth here at home, and for it to be, you know, I finished up about this bedroom and the other stuff I've done about 32 weeks. So we had time to slow down a bit as well, not, you know, pushing right through to 36, 37 weeks.
And I finished work at 32 weeks too. I wanted to have a slow, I wanted to go on maternity leave early and have a slow, restful, enjoyable time.
Which is,
we didn't want to be rushing to the end.
No, which is massively important that we found out, you know, with the way the birth happened.
Yeah.
Huge, like, because you can't predict it. It's just, it is what it is, and it takes
totally
journey, and you just got to roll with it. And if you're well rested, fit, and healthy, you're going to be able to make it all the way to the end, like she did.
Yeah, that's right. And slowing down is such an important part for all people, whether you live in the city or on the Sunshine Coast, giving yourself space to process the identity change, the body whispers so that we can hear those whispers, you know, and having time to sleep in the day because you've had a shitty night's sleep with restless legs or whatever. It is, like you say, on all levels, physical, mental, emotional. It's so critical. The one thing you wrote about birth that was, I think, straight after little Varli Mason Butcher arrived. I have no words to explain the depths of the underworld I traversed through labour. Birth is incredible. And then the week after he was born, I had no idea how to hold a newborn, no idea what to do with a newborn. But today I can't think of anything more fulfilling than the simplicity of life right now in our bubble. There's more. I was just going to send people. I'm going to send people. And because you talked then about the maiden is continuing to shed her identity, and it's really uncomfortable at times. I don't think I ever really knew how to truly love. Oh, my God, until these past few weeks. That's it, isn't it? You can be in the trenches of parenthood, but this is where we discover love. The Holy Grail is love. And I believe that's why we become parents, the longing for love, for this expansion of knowing ourselves, our true selves. So let's talk about the birth. Let's talk.
Why we're all here.
Let's find some words.
And Varli is on cue, moving again.
Quick, you better get him.
I think he's hot.
He's hot?
It's hot in here.
He's hot.
The humidity of Noosa.
I know, it's very humid. It's so humid.
Well, his eyes are open.
Well, to beginning, we were doing Rebozo from 30 weeks. So we were doing a lot of prep for birth too, to help my body stretch and really easily carry him to the end. So, you know, lots of Rebozo stretches from 30 weeks. This is why you got to do, you know, you do a birth course early because you've got all these tools and you can intuitively know when to put the tools into practice.
Yeah.
You know, 30 weeks we were doing Rebozo and stretching, and then I went on maternity leave at 32 weeks and I was getting Bodywork all through my pregnancy, fortnightly and weekly.
Beautiful. What were you doing?
So one of my friends does a lot of womb work, and she also does yoni steaming and pregnancy massage, basically specializes in pregnancy massage. And she was also 7 weeks behind me in pregnancy as well, which was amazing. So, as we know, everything's stored in the body. So regularly getting that body work allows things to come up, traumas to come up, patterns to come up and be processed through the body and through our emotions. So that was really important for me being a body worker too.
Yeah.
And also for Adam, me massaging Adam and allowing his things to come up and his body to, shed energetic patterns and energetic layers and especially because he was working really physically hard doing the renovations and working for his builder too. So he had to be fit for the birth too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm such a huge fan of body work. It just all happens through the body, and the nervous system. Really, like the nervous system holds patterns and memories. All healing comes back down to body and nervous system. And yeah, if you can create a dialogue with your body, then and have a team around you to support that, whatever it is. Like right now, I have the most extraordinary sacrocranial woman, and I have had, to me, it's like the most profound body work and healing I've ever had. But she brings in energy reading and dialoguing. And that really works for me. Like I was trained in energy reading, going through the systems of the body, the energy centers, but she holds space and she knows how to allow trauma to come up without re-traumatizing. And the repatterning of my physical body and the mind and the beliefs is quite profound. It's just mind-blowing. So I really wish that for everybody to have great body work throughout their pregnancy. It's Definitely. So key. I love that you were able to give that to Adam as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm
missing it now.
Yeah, he's missing it now.
Yeah.
I'm too busy.
What she does, you can't explain, Nadine. I don't know. People ask, there's massage therapists and there's massage therapists. And then there's what Donna does, that it's not massage. There's something else there. There's energy. It's all the things that she's learned over the 10 plus years of doing it. And then when she puts her hands on my body, I just, totally surrender and know that I just trust her. She goes, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or this is tight, or let's try that. And I'm like, no worries, And when you can fully surrender, whether it's your wife or your best friend or whoever it is, when you can fully surrender, then you're really going to get the most out of the treatment. So.
Absolutely. So you were glad for all that body work and that sort of mind-body processing, because how did that help you in the birth? Tell us about the epic birth story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I knew my mind was strong. I've done a lot of, competitive dancing, surf lifesaving, half marathons, stuff like that. So I knew physically and mentally I was very strong. And so I thought, I'll smash birth because I know my mind is strong. But then birth just took it to another level. It went an absolute another level. I had to really, really be strong in my mind every surge. So we went into, do you want to close those windows? Just because someone's got the whippersnipper.
Oh, I can't hear it. That's
sweet. So we went into, I was having lots of Braxton Hicks. There's a great naturopathic clinic here in the Sunny Coast. So I got some homeopathics for birth and post-birth. So I was taking my birth, my pre-labour homeopathic, and obviously all of the, the raspberry leaf tea, and I was also taking nettle tea to build my iron.
Great.
And we were doing some acupressure. We were doing some rebozo.
A lot of acupressure.
Yeah,
and we were doing, anything that called to us leading up to the birth. And I was having lots of Braxton Hicks. And then and I had a feeling I was going in on the Thursday. I was 39 weeks on the Friday, and the whole birth we kept going, we're going to be early. We're going to be early. We just had this feeling the whole pregnancy. We were like, yeah, we're going to be early. So when on the Thursday morning, I went to take Billie for a walk down the beach, and she stopped at the park and wouldn't go any further. And I was like, that's odd. And I knew that changes in pets were a sign too. And I thought, oh, that's odd. And I didn't, read into it or anything, but we continued our walk, came home, and I was having this kind of very internal feeling that Thursday evening. And I said to Adam, he got home from work, and I said to Adam, are you ready? Like, do you reckon you're ready? Because it could happen soon. I think I'm going in. And you were like, what did you say? You were like, yeah, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's right. You're ready, exactly whatever happens. You just mind shifts, when it's on, and then you focus on that. So
yeah. And about 3:30 a.m. on the Friday morning, I woke up with contractions, and thought, and I was awake for about an hour just feeling them, just going, this is more than Braxton Hicks. And we made love, and then we were kind of like, oh, and of course, you don't know how long it's going to take. One of my close friends had just had a 4-hour birth a couple of weeks before. So we're like, is it going to happen today, this morning, tomorrow? We didn't know. So we went in kind of a bit of a mad flurry, because Adam was like, okay, I won't go to work. And then we were like, okay, birth pool, prep the house, all of that type of thing. And it was a little bit kind of, I'd timed my contractions in the morning, and it was 2 minutes apart and 30 seconds per contraction. And I thought, and they were very mild, and I thought, that's pretty close together. And in the end, we knew why at the end with his head position. So then labour stopped. It just stopped cold at about 11 in the morning. It just stopped. Everything, I was like, oh, okay, that was really weird. And again, I'd never really listened to birth stories where, and I knew that pre-labour could be many days, but I'd never listened to many birth stories where a labour just stopped cold and that was it. And it was like there was no more sensations. So I had to, I called our doula, and we just wanted to regroup, and I started thinking, oh God, what's wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with, is my body not doing it properly? So we went to bed that Friday evening. Saturday, nothing Saturday, really a few sensations.
Normal Saturday.
We decided to have a normal Saturday because our doula said on the Friday, don't go looking for labour. Labour will find you. And we had to keep repeating that to ourselves as this, and in the end perfectly worked out, because we ended up having 2.5 whole days of me, Adam and Billie home.
Nice.
And rest. Yeah. And you rested, which was important.
Massive.
Adam rested, which was really important, leading up to it. So then on the Sunday morning, I woke up early and we made love again. And then about 5:30 in the morning, they began again. And this was the 17th of October. And this whole pregnancy, I knew that I was rewriting my lineage's birth story. And my due date when I was a baby was the 17th of October.
Wow.
So
bumps all over. I'm just like
so, and I was 10 days late, but that was my due date as a bub. So and it was clear after the birth how much, because my head position was the same as Varli's head position when I was born.
Yep.
But my mum's birth was very different to my birth.
Yeah.
So, the Sunday morning, and I just said, I'm ignoring it, I'm ignoring it, I'm ignoring it, and I kept ignoring.
To a point.
Yeah. So we were like, let's go down the beach, we'll walk the beach. Walked to the beach with Billie, and I just was kind of, labouring on the beach. They were really mild. We had a swim, and I was having, again, just not rhythmic, regular surges at all, basically the whole labour.
Wow.
And that was really frustrating to me.
Yes.
Very frustrating to me.
The mind can't really relax if you don't have that rhythm. It's a very, very hard thing to yield without the rhythm. Yeah.
And also my whole, career is around listening to the body and feeling the body and analysing what the body is doing and how it's doing it. And I had to really throw that out the window during labour, because that was holding me back. That was putting me in my head.
Yeah.
Of feeling what's going on and is there a mucus plug, and there was no signs like that.
Wow.
Until 4 a.m. on the Monday morning when my waters broke.
Wow.
So,
were you chill, Adam? How are you going?
I'm glad I had a couple of days rest, Nadine, because we woke up on that Friday morning. I was like, okay, I'm not going to work, but half my tools are at work and I could be at home for 6 weeks. So Don was like, okay, quickly go and get your tools, come back home, and we'll set the pool up and do all this and do all that. And we did all that. And then it was like, sat down and it was like, oh my God, what is this happening right now? I just felt so wound up, and all in my head. And you went up and Donna went up and had a shower. She goes, need some time. She went and had a shower. I had some breakfast, had some time. And obviously was sitting around waiting, and we walked the streets here and, you laboured on the trees and cars and stuff like that, and then got home and then it stopped, like Donna said. So, and to be able to have that Saturday, went down the beach with Billie, really immersed ourselves in why we live here, went out for lunch, stuff like that. So it was a normal day and I felt a lot more relaxed leading into it. Had I come straight home from work, I got a phone call from Donna saying, better come home now, it's on. It would have been the same thing, I feel, would have slowed down and would have given me a day or two, because, Varli would have known, like, Dad needs to slow down because he's got to be there for Mum for God knows how many hours. So for it to happen the way it did, it was it will happen the way it was meant to happen.
Yeah. Perfect.
Very fortunate that it went the way it did, because
and that's what the last birth I was at was a lot of stopping and starting pre-labour, which is a really common thing with second, third pregnancies as well. Mm-hmm. Different to yours, obviously, because of that funky position of the head and the irregularity of contractions and so on. And I suppose the one thing I said to my mummy and, other people is like, the story always makes sense in the end,
Exactly.
So just trust that there's a story being written right now, which is going to, shine through with magic and synchronicity. All you have to do is just allow and yield. And, that's what you were doing that weekend, to just land and to ground and to rest and really prep.
And now for a quick break.
She Births is where science and nature come together. As the only scientifically verified birth education course in the world, we can help you understand nature's intelligent design for birth while learning the most evidence-based birthing skills. We know that by getting to know yourself and by educating your team well now, you will be able to manage more of the challenges ahead with ease and grace. From our free pregnancy guide to our world-class birth education, to our post-birth Soul Mama circles, you can be supported to find the mother within you. Our doula service is bespoke and provides only the best-in-class trained birth support to She Births families. Over 60% of our mums choose a doula in their birthing room, and we know that they will have the best care, best pain relief, and evidence-based support for their empowerment. Go to shebirths.com/doula, DOULA, and book a free 15-minute consultation today to discuss your needs. So what happened then? What is broke?
So Sunday about 11:30, again it stopped.
We'll backtrack.
Oh my God.
Before the work, there's a lot of story before the waters break. So yeah, Sunday about 11:30 it stopped again, and I was like, okay. And we'd, just text our midwife, and I didn't want to time anything.
Yeah.
I really did not want to be in my head, and I didn't want to time things, and we didn't want VEs, and we didn't want any of that, because I can very easily pop up into my head, and then mentally I can, if I'm in my body and I'm connected to my body, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it stopped again, and then so we were like, let's just rest. And so we put on some surf movies and just laid on the mattress and snuggled and just watched surf movies. And then about 1:30 Sunday afternoon, that's when I had to start saying, can you pause the movie while I go through this? Because it picked up again. And each surge, I had to get Adam to pause the movie, otherwise I'd miss it. And then it was on from then. About 3:30 Sunday afternoon, I feel like we kind of entered more regular, more sensations. And I was standing, walking. Adam had hung a strap in the middle of our home, and I was walking laps around the strap, like just
like a beautiful hammock, like I showed you at Shebirths, like from a hook. Yeah, so you can hang into it.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was walking laps just around. It was like a walking meditation. And I was walking laps, and then I would lean on it, and there was a rug on there, and I'd lean on it and go through the surge, and then walk laps again, and or like sway my hips and dance and just like gym ball or whatever kind of called to me. And then we called Bron, our doula, at
4.
I
called about 4, yeah. She was an hour and a half away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Bron came up at 5:30. Again, there was a few that were close together, and then there was a bit of break, and then there was a few that were close together, and then there was a bit of break. But it started picking up, didn't it? And
also when it got dark.
Then it got dark.
Around that 7 o'clock. Yeah.
And then you joined me, didn't you?
Yeah, because before that I was like, okay, well, we're going into the evening here, so I'll jump in the kitchen and cook us some food. We did have heaps of snacks and stuff like that ready to go. Buckets of coconut water that we learnt at your Shebirths course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got in the kitchen. It was probably better for me because I sometimes can be too, not trying to fix, but just always trying to help and be there for Donna. But, at that time, she had to go through that herself. And
that's right
there. I was only a couple of metres away, and I was in her space, and I was observing her and watching her, and if she needed anything, more coconut water or food or whatever. So I was just cooking, and I was relaxed. I loved cooking. I was in the kitchen, and, you were going through the motions and through the surges, and and then, like I said, when it got dark, that's when it really changed, and it started to become more regular.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then as that melatonin increases, the oxytocin increases as well, and the mammal just feels safer and safer with the pupils getting larger and larger. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what happened?
We were inactive, I reckon, probably from around 4 p.m. it felt like, but around Adam joined me and just held me, and obviously all that cuddling and kissing and helping me through each surge. And around, was it about 9:30? We thought we'd call Jill.
I think it was a bit early. Time doesn't matter. It was around then.
Yeah.
It was a few hours later. We actually asked our doula. She said, because we didn't know. It's the first time you only hear what you hear or stories you've heard from friends or what we've watched of other births. And we said, oh, should we call our midwife? And Bronwyn, our doula, said, oh, no, just keep going a bit more. I just want to hear a few more deeper moans and stuff coming from you. And then she came over and she's like, yeah, we could probably call her now. I forget what the time was.
Yeah.
And she was an hour and a half away as well. So that's why we did call her a bit early. We didn't know how quick it could escalate because it had, stopped and started. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
And we grew a great relationship with her, and we wanted her to be there and be a part of it because, she said she'd been to a few births and missed out, as well. So, and just making sure she was there to give her plenty of time to get there. Also,
nice
part of it. So, wasn't it?
Yeah. So her and our second midwife were quite a drive away.
Yeah.
So Jill, our midwife, actually told the secondary midwife at the same time.
Yep. And
I believe that she headed off at the same time.
Yeah.
But the secondary midwife, we'd had an appointment, and I had this feeling. It was about 36 weeks, and I had this feeling that she wasn't the right secondary. And I let her know that, and our primary midwife was on holidays at that time. So I said, I'll leave it, and when she gets back, we can sort it out, and we'll get another secondary midwife. And it was just this feeling that we both got that, like, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I don't feel like I want her there.
Yeah.
And in the end, the way it worked out, we discussed that, the secondary midwife usually doesn't get there till crowning or doesn't even make it. And so I said, no, okay, we'll keep her. That's okay. We'll keep her. And, probably won't even see her because usually secondary midwives don't.
Yeah, they're just coming to second stage, and they can be in the background, but it is a really important thing to listen to that. Like, can you imagine, when you meet people, can I fully relax and surrender and yield if that person is in my space? And you don't have to know why, but you just need to be able to answer that question. The yes or the no is there, and you have to be honest with that.
Yeah. So it would have been, I'd felt tired. So I got on the gym ball and was kind of leaning over the gym ball and labouring. And then I felt this kind of, I wanted to throw up. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. I didn't want to label anything, but I feel like I want to throw up. And so our doula got a bucket, and I was very in the zone, and I was very focused, and Adam was in front of me, and I was very internal and just really in it. And then the door opened, and the secondary midwife came in and came up to me and said, your midwife's not far away, I'm here. And at that moment, I completely lost my rhythm. It really took me by surprise to have her arrive first, and then also for her to come up to me when I was clearly really in the zone. And then a few other things happened. As soon as that happened, I know what type of person I am. I have to feel very safe. And as soon as that happened, I was gone. Labour almost stalled immediately.
Wow.
And then a few other things happened. She turned the light on.
What? Oh my God.
Turned the light on in the birth room, which was in front of me. And then our midwife came in. She arrived not too long after, checked the heart rate, which was amazing. But my surges just completely stopped. The sensation stopped. I was like, what the? Not again? And so I went into the toilet to get some time to myself. And I was in the toilet. Door wasn't closed or anything, but I was just sitting in the toilet in the darkness. And the secondary midwife was rustling around it was a laundry toilet. So she was rustling around in there, trying to find the light. And I said, oh, it's on the wall there. And she was like, holy F. And I scared her. Obviously, she didn't know I was in there. But that was the moment where I was like, no, I don't want you here. and came back out. We went upstairs. Adam and I, Bron said, just go up, go in the shower, regroup, come upstairs. And at that moment, I started really freaking out, and I was like, I want to get this baby out. Like, I felt really unsafe, and I felt them in the space it really messed with the energy, and it messed with my flow. So I went upstairs and we had a shower together, and then I said, call Bron up. So Bron, our doula, came up, and I said, Bron, it's not working. And I was starting to have this bit of a freak out. I said, I need to get this baby out. I don't want them here. And I was really getting nervous and unsafe. And God knows how, God knows where my cervix went back to, but labour stopped.
Wow.
And so Bron ended up letting the midwives know to leave, and we'll call them. And the secondary midwife didn't come back. We discussed that, and I didn't have the phone or anything, but you and Bron handled it with my primary midwife, and she wasn't coming back. There was another one coming when we called her, and I wanted to make sure that I was deep in labour before I called back the midwife. So they left, and I put my headphones on, and I went really internal.
Beautiful.
And you and Bron stepped back, and I just was trying to build labour up again. Bron I did a bit of acupressure. We got a homeopathic, did a bit of a kind of lower back massage, and wanted to get labour going again.
We did some more rebozo.
Yeah.
On the wall.
We did some rebozo.
Yeah.
And so I just went really internal, put my headphones on, changed my music, and then it was building, and then it stopped again. Wow. And this was, 1:30 maybe in the morning, 2.
About that, 1 o'clock.
And I was tired. And so then I...
Just add something here, Nadine. She was tired because she'd been standing up the whole time, and she's so strong. She was just going and going and going, You were going with it.
Yeah.
But she was going...
And I forgot that Nadine said rest.
The whole time, Nadine. I was tired. I was exhausted, and I hadn't been on the outside assisting, but she'd been walking, pacing, and this is what she thought she had to do. So I just wanted
you might have had to, Donna. Like, that's the thing. Like, so you're right. Okay, so for everyone who's listening, we teach active birthing with the very important wise principle of do the least to achieve the most, like conserve and rest. But at the same time, maybe you also felt, because of Varlie's funky head position, that being upright and active was probably the way to get that cervix open and help him down. That might have been also what's going on as well.
Possibly.
Yeah. So I took my headphones off, and we sat down on the mattress, and I said to Bron, I don't know what's wrong. It's not working. And then it was a absolute maiden tantrum. And I was like, at that moment, I realized I'm trying to do this on my own, and I can't do this on my own.
Wow.
And it was this realization of my whole life I've been doing things on my own because I don't think I can rely on anyone else. And if I want to birth this child, I can't do this on my own. I need Adam. I need Bron there. I need them holding me. I need to work with them, not do it on my own and let them be in the background. And I had this huge, I was yelling, I was screaming, I was crying, hit the pillow. I had this huge tantrum come up, and Bron was like, just let it out.
Yeah.
She was like, your maiden is dying right now. Let it out. And I just let it out, let it all out. And then Bron said, let's rest. Labour doesn't have to look like anything. You can lay down and labour. And at that moment, I remembered where the women that are in comas can still birth a baby. I remembered that, and I was like, oh, why don't we just rest? So we changed the music, and Adam spooned me, and Bron laid in front of me, and we had this little spoon train,
Oh.
For 2.5 hours.
2.5
I
hours.
was
We
exhausted.
slept. Yeah.
Just to back it up a little bit, at one point that you missed out, you were like, oh, just, can't we'll just, Bron, you go home and just come back tomorrow. We won't worry about it, we'll just let it take its course and we'll start again tomorrow. And Bron and I were like, no, we need to. And she asked you a couple of questions, and that's when the maid in you started punching the pillow and started letting go more. And
peeling the onion.
Oh,
it is
an onion. We'll walk in the labyrinth.
That's it. You remember. That's it. You're walking a labyrinth while peeling an onion. That's what you're doing. That's
exactly.
it.
That's
while you're running a marathon. While you're running the marathon.
Exactly. So, and I was all for the rest because I was shattered.
Yeah,
absolutely
totally.
Tired, we all were tired.
Yeah.
So that was once we regrouped and we rested, and then
Bron got some clary sage and massaged me and held my hand, and we all just kind of slept and
you were
then
still
again,
going through the surges.
The surges, in each surge I would just wake up and breathe through it and allow it, and then we'd go back to sleep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, in saying this, all the while, Billie, our dog, is just by my side, isn't she? She's
doggy doula.
Doggy doula and daddy doula and real doula. Billie was always there, wasn't she? And I worried what she would do when I was in labour because it's quite strong, but she was just there the whole time, wasn't she? She was sitting there or overlooking, or
she was in the area.
In the area at all times, just watching and seeing. And then 4:15 a.m. in the morning, my waters broke all over Adam.
You burst on me, yeah.
That was a little initiation.
It was, yeah. So in my mind, when that happened, I was like, oh, it won't be long, a couple of hours, we'll have our baby. And you thought the same thing. Little did we know there was many more mountains to climb.
Yep.
Yeah. So I said to Bron, okay, where do we go from here, Bron? And we could hear the birds, birds were waking up, the birds were chirping. And Bron said, okay, well, now it's going to get more intense. So you can choose. You can lay down and continue labour. You could go in the shower. You could stand up. We could go upstairs, whatever you want to do. So I said, okay, let's go to the shower. So we went upstairs to the shower, and it did pick up. It picked up a fair bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, in my mind, I was like, okay, just, a few hours and we'll be in stage 2 and we'll be pushing. And pretty much immediately when I got in the shower, I started having that involuntary at the end of my surges.
Oh, like those little urgy pushes. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is great.
Mm.
And then after a while of that, I was like, oh, I'm exhausted again. I'm exhausted. And Adam and Bron brought the mattress upstairs into our bedroom, and I laid down on my side and continued to labour and was looking at my belly going, he's not like it, because we didn't know what he was. It's not moving down. I don't feel like I'm really dropping. I felt like it really picked up when I had that thing with the second midwife. I feel like my belly went up, and I was like, my belly doesn't feel like it's dropping down. Like I don't feel like he's coming down. It's not. I was kind of looking, going, my belly, he doesn't feel like he's in the middle, back out. Felt like on the side still. And so that was quite unsettling to me. And anyway, we continued to labour, and we kind of went side lying, up on all fours, toilet, and kind of went between them. And it would have been about 7 when I said, call Jill, our midwife. And I said,
about that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Call Jill. And so going from, we were looking at this labour and the faces of labour the other day, because we were putting together a little box for our pregnant friends of things that we used. And when we were looking at the faces, you were like 6 to 8 downstairs. Like before labour stalled, you were almost at transition.
Yeah.
So I was almost at transition, and then kind of went back to the start again. And
Wow.
And then again in here on the mattress, really building. Like I was in a lot of, and I had heard people describe labour, and I knew I was so good with pain, but I was like, this is a lot more than I thought. This is really, really, really taking all my strength and more through every single surge. And I thought, okay, this is just what it is. But in the end, I had to work really, really, really hard to get him down because he was asynclitic.
Yep. So for people who are listening, like rather than the back of a baby's head sitting neat on the cervix with their chin tucked, Varlie's head was slightly off to the side. Was he also facing an inner thigh? Like, did he come out a bit sort of facing the inner thigh? Like if he was staying on the side, then what's sort of happening is also his shoulders are coming more onto the pubic bone and the tailbone, like anal and kind of pubic kind of pressure. And that's very uncomfortable. Yeah,
I did
as
see
well.
that kind of in the photos, the way
If you were just sort of saying like you couldn't see his back in your front belly, more to the side. So, part of the descent is that, but when they stay like that for a long time, so head twisted and body off on the side, that is pretty challenging. Yeah.
So, yeah. Basically we just continued to go through positions over and over and over again.
Wow.
And so waters broke at 4 a.m. and we birthed at 10 a.m.
Wow.
So,
you did good. So were you like, let's talk about those positions. We're like, was your doula helping? Was Jill helping? Did you do lunging? Like, what did you do? Did you just roll your hips? Were you listening to your body? Was it like experimenting? Like, talk about how you really had to like move your body. Because I think that's one thing that people really aren't aware of with malposition, how much we've got to really listen to our bodies, particularly when we're in hospital. And a lot of people are told to just stay on the bed and all that kind of stuff, you know? What were you doing? Like you were rotating? Like,
yeah, I feel like probably from 7 when we said to call Jill onwards, I was like deep in I don't know where to find the strength. From then onwards, I was pretty much out of it, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I needed Adam at my head and we were side lying, and then when Jill got there, she would get my foot and push it up.
Right.
So we were in that kind of up.
Yes. Side lying, left lateral. Yep.
Yeah, left, and then right leg would come up in a kind of side squat.
Yep.
And I remember Jill taking the heart rate, and his heart rate was absolutely bang on the whole time. And I remember feeling where she took the heart rate. And then maybe an hour later, I remember where she took the heart rate again and it was lower. And so I was like, oh, thank God. So he was just millimeters and millimeters and millimeters and millimeters down.
A slow descent. And for people who are listening, like descent and position is more important than dilation. All these people that like, we had to do a VE, we did a VE, we were 2, and then we were 4, like, who cares? It's the descent and the rotation that creates the dilation. So it's the chicken and the egg. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
When we were on the bed, Nadine, and then Donna was like, something's not right. He's not coming down, because she knows her body so well and so connected with him. She was like, it's not right. He's not coming down. Something's not right. So Bronwyn, she said, all right, let's jump up. Let's go on the toilet. So we're labouring on the toilet a little bit with a pillow, hands above. And that worked for maybe, 15 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And then I think we might have come back to the bed. I'm not sure. And then we came onto our bed. And then Donna was in a deep squat and I was holding her up from the back so she could fully let go and getting right down and deep, because Donna had the feeling, she was right. They just, like she said, 1 millimetre at a time, he wasn't coming down to get through that S bend. because of his head.
And at that moment, I was still very throaty with my pushing.
Mm.
So I was very still up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that was when actually I went and you were labouring on all fours as well at that time. And I was like just in awe. I've been in awe the whole time since all this began of Donna's strength and, you know, where we'd come from, starting from the Friday morning to now being Monday morning. And I was just like, just wanted to, you know, have a look. And, you know, Bronwyn and our midwife, they said, come and have a look. And I couldn't see anything, but I could just see the parting of the hips and I could see that purple line.
The blue line, the hops line.
Blue purple line. And
that comes out of the butt crack, everybody. If you're
out of the butt crack.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I looked over to Bronwyn, our doula, and she didn't give me the thumbs up, but her face was like, yes, this is like spot on. This is perfect. It's all happening the way it's meant to, you know. And did I tell you that? I'm not sure if I told you that. I
think I had a feeling that there was communication going, but I was like, so.
In it, yeah. But I was just like, I was just super excited knowing that, your body's doing everything it's meant to, and so are you, and it's just taking its course, 1 millimetre at a time. So,
and watching those hips, like watching the hips, the actual pelvis just expand, and sometimes it literally is like gunk.
Yeah.
Like you see it almost go an inch either way, like in one surge. But other times it's like this incremental. But to see that broadening is wild.
Everyone, all the men listening, have a look if you can, because it's so crazy and special, and it's what our lovely wives are designed to do. And be a part of it. Have a look. Don't be scared. It's natural.
Yeah. True.
So mainly what supported me through all of that was Adam at cool sponges and Adam just being at my head holding my hands. He tried to do a hip squeeze at some point and I was like, no. Stop.
Which we learned at birth. Was like,
of course, but you never know.
Yeah, there's like, all these techniques, but it's like what works? What works on the day? And it was just him being right there near my head. And Billie popping in at times and sitting down with us, and otherwise Billie was up on the bed like, oh, I'm so tired, and just like having her in the space and having Adam at my head, just holding my hands through every surge.
Yeah.
I think we came back to the bed.
Okay.
After this deep squat, we were right here in this deep squat and I was very throaty. We went back to the bed for a bit longer and Jill saw some meconium. So there was meconium too. There was a while where she was unclear as to whether it was meconium or not. But then it was quite clear it was meconium from then on. And this wasn't too long. And we would have, even if she suggested an hour, we wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. And Jill said, you're going to have this baby. And I still was kind of like, I don't know if it's coming. Like, I still really felt like I was, oh God, it's been this long. How much longer can it be? I was just trying to draw on every single bit of strength I had to get through. And every time I felt like I had no more, some more strength came from somewhere. And then we went into the toilet. Back into the toilet. And then as I was coming out, I was totally in between worlds, but I remember Bron saying to me, Donna, walk across there, and we have a kind of raised void in our from bedroom to the other bedrooms. She said, pick up your knee, turn it out like this duck walks.
Duck feet, yeah.
And then a big deep squat and bear down. So I did this across. And it's still at this point there was no show of head. And so I did these big turn out my leg, bear down across, and then bang, we had a head.
Woohoo!
And I bared down, and then Jill got the mirror and she said, yeah, I can see head. And then kind of when she said, I can see head, I was like, he is coming and I am not stopping till he comes.
No, then it's like such a motivation, right? It's like such a relief.
I don't think I didn't even wait for for surges, I just kept pushing and Jill had to slow me down. But I knew we'd done perineum massage. I'd done yoni steaming. My perineum was really stretchy. And whilst we did perineum massage, I also self-pleasured, which it's a beautiful thing to do leading up to labour and birth. But having the self-pleasure, the amount that Adam could stretch my perineum was out of this world.
Yes, totally.
So I knew we had really good stretch in my perineum, and Jill knew too. So she kind of was like slowed me down, but at the same time she was like, her perineum's fine, go for it. So Adam grabbed me from behind, because it's at this point he could still kind of feel like I was holding on, and he was like, let go, I've got you. And I just kind of let go, and then all of a sudden I closed every surge, I closed my mouth, and it was the and all that energy just started bearing down and coming out my like root. And then I think it was 9 minutes of pushing.
Wow. Okay, you totally deserved that. You totally deserved 9 minute push.
Someone's awake.
Someone's awake.
Right on cue. We're talking about you, Mr. Varli. We're talking about you.
Yeah, so, and no bleeding, barely any bleeding. And he came out and straight onto our chest, just screaming.
Screaming. Even the neighbours heard him. And they were like, that's a healthy boy. But a healthy baby, not boy. That's a healthy baby.
Yeah.
That's great. That's so awesome.
Today, don't you, buddy?
But yeah, I had nothing left. That was it. That was all I had left, and it was just enough.
I actually really quite love that emptied out feeling, and it's, whenever we do exercise, even a marathon, not that I've done a marathon, we always stop because of the mind. You don't know, and that's why people do, cross countries and run around countries or whatever they do, because the mind is always telling you can't keep going. It's time to stop. And we don't really know until we test it. And we don't have any other situation apart from, say a goal like running across Australia or whatever, to really discover what we're made of and how much we have within us, the strength, the surrender. And I just love that you cultivated around you safety and the space to have your tantrum and to rewrite a story for yourself. And I don't know your mum's story, but I relate to that rewriting of the lineage, I really do. Did you think about that a lot during labour, or did you?
In labour, it was kind of continuously going through my head that I was rewriting.
Yeah.
Story. It was, and especially as it went longer and it stalled and stopped, and I actually didn't. I knew my birth, but when I discussed with my mum how we came down and asynclitic and stuff like that, she was like, that sounds very much like your birth, like, but you were stuck. And so, she was in hospital, and what happened to her. But after, I was just in awe and so grateful to do it at home and to do it in a safe environment, and to do it with a midwife and a doula and people we trusted, and know that they were there and they were working with me. Do this, try this, deep squat, deep lunge, toilet, like moving all around and just doing all those things. And as Jill said when we were discussing it later, like, you just got to get the right position and they come through and then you're out. And it's just kind of that game of getting the right position to bring them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel different in your body now from giving birth?
I mean, I wasn't, I was sore for a few days, but apart from that, I pulled up really, really, really well. And I had a good couple of weeks of rest. And through my pregnancy, I was really surprised through my pregnancy, because I have issues with body image from my past. Through my pregnancy, I was very comfortable with my weight gain. I'm very comfortable and loved my body. But in postpartum, I've actually been very self-conscious and really having to be so gentle on myself and remember that society's expectations of the bouncing back, of, you know, the baby that's out at the cafe and all of that stuff. And we're at 6 weeks and we haven't gone anywhere public yet. We've stayed very in our I'm doing daily walks and stuff, but just being very gentle on myself and reminding myself that this slow postpartum is for my health in the long run.
Totally.
And, you know, I'm strengthening my body with gentle exercises, but hey, I just grew a baby and then birthed it. And now I'm nourishing him with my breasts.
Your whole body, yeah.
Yeah, the whole body. And the, you know, bouncing back or getting your strength back. The main reason I want to get my strength back is to surf again, which I've already gone for 2 surfs. Yeah, it's just we've got to be really gentle on ourselves, because we can have all those voices from the outside and things we see in social media or TV or whatever, thinking that we should be more ahead or more together or more toned than what we are.
Yeah.
But, you know, everyone's journey is so different and everyone's body is so different, and we need to be gentle on ourselves.
Absolutely. How's little Varli going? Is he okay?
He's good. I might just put him on the boob.
Yeah, pop him on the boob, because we can wrap up. And I suppose the only other question, bring him in, pop him on the booby.
Okay.
If you're comfy. Has feeding gone well for you?
It was a challenge at the beginning. His jaw was a little bit back after the birth, so we've had some osteo work.
Great. What did you say his jaw was? What did you say?
It was just pushed back a little bit.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, he was having trouble latching.
Yeah.
So we called out a lactation consultant, because all our, a couple of our friends that have birthed were like, do not wait.
Never wait.
Just call out a consultant and you know, get some tips, get some pointers. So day 3, we called Kelly out. And
highly recommend
I'm just on nipple shields. He can latch onto this boob, but he has trouble latching onto my right boob.
Yeah.
So we just have nipple shields, which are lifesavers, thank God.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They can be great. Amazing.
Add something there. He did, because he was born asynclitic and his jaw was, say, back.
Yes. Yeah.
That meant that his tongue was further back as well, and his palate. Yeah. And the midwife had a look and said there's no tongue tie, which is what they do straight away after birth. Then Kelly, who came out, a lactation consultant, she said, no, he's actually got a minor one, because tiny. He had milk staining on his tongue, whereas it should be clean the whole way. That means they're getting nipple right to the back of their throat.
Yeah, right.
So she was like, let's do some massage. We'll do some jaw massage. Donna's been doing a few exercises and went to our osteo, and sort of like 3 weeks later now, he's fine. So any of the mothers and fathers out there and people say, he's got a tongue tie, do these things first, because it is quite traumatic for the child to go and get that tongue tie, you know, or cut or whatever. Do everything first.
That's right.
Then that as a last resort, which we would have gone down that road if we had to, but massage and other things we've done and seeing osteo as soon as possible makes a massive difference, because you do have choices. You don't just have to do what they say is your child, not their child.
Yeah, that's right. And really going through exploring the complementary therapies that can help and being aware of that, and I think is really important as well. So what would you say to pregnant families that are listening to this? What do you think is important for people to know, to remember? What would you like to speak to them?
We've got some friends of ours, dear friends, they're back they're in Perth, and they're about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks away from birthing, and we've been texting each other and stuff like that, and I was just on the biggest high after he was born. I still am, but the oxytocin was just like through the roof. I never thought I could love my wife any more than what I already did, but that's just blown everything out of the water, Nadine, and having Varli as well. And like we had all those tools that we learned at She Births, that we learned together, that we've learned on our own. I guess the biggest thing that I would say from a male perspective would be do all the integrative stuff that you can, do the birthing course, do all that, stay connected with your partner, but just do what you need to do for yourself and like trust yourself, trust your intuition, do the things that light you up, and just, that's the main one. Trust yourself that you can be the one to hold the space for your partner throughout the journey of pregnancy and birth. If you can do that, you can do anything. So that's what I firmly believe was the most pivotal thing for me that got us through it together.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's a really wise words to share with partners out there. Absolutely beautiful.
And I would say like support. So like me having women that I can talk to, through pregnancy, but also after birth, because lots of things come up that aren't expected. And to have women that I could talk to, like this village that is coming back, having Adam knowing that he can talk to fathers or men in his life and he feels safe talking to them, and that I have people that I can go to, that I'm supported. If I'm struggling or I'm having a tough day, we both have people that we can go to and talk to them about what's going on, or have time where we can, once we put Varli to bed, and we always have a cuddle at night before we go to bed. Or like, how are you doing today? Or how are you feeling today? Or what do you need for yourself today? And allow them to have that. When he naps, Adam knows that he will have to hold the fort sometimes if Varli's a bit unsettled, and I can go and do my exercises and my Pilates, and I know that Adam needs to get in the ocean every day, and I let him have that. And if I get to go in the ocean or get a surf in, then that's a bonus. But it's really knowing that you have support around you, and that together you can support each other through what's going on. Because I've had dark days and you've had dark days, and in the end it's not a reflection of each other. It's, we both have, like Bron, our doula, said, like, birth is the initiation, but the maiden continues to die as she realizes, oh God, I can't just, run away down the beach and I've got this child that needs to be with me at all times. The unraveling of that, of realizing that for now freedom is a bit limited, that was really big for me. And getting through that, I feel like now almost 6 weeks, I'm just coming out of that.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
To add to that, Nadine, I would have to say that was just talking about what you, as myself, I could do, but a pivotal part of it is having a person like yourself, Bronwyn, there is someone that is there for Donna and Billie and myself. And when Donna first mentioned getting a doula, I was like, oh, I don't really know about that, But then within the first visit that we went and met with her, it was like, yeah, I feel safe, feel comfortable. You build that relationship, you open up to them, you're vulnerable with them. They're right there. She's the one that I turn to, and, she would, right. Maybe try this, or here's a wet flannel, or having that person there for everyone out there listening was a game changer, it's not about the money. It's about the experience, and it's about having the right support around you, and having either yourself and the dean or whoever it is around you is pivotal. Whatever it looks, it doesn't have to be a doula. It might be your best friend or whoever you feel comfortable with. It doesn't matter. But
no, it should be a doula.
It could be, but not just any doula.
I had a best friend at my birth, and doulas weren't a thing 20 years ago. And it's so different. I just have to say, like, it's not the same as that, like, this is your role and we are here and we are employing you to hold space and guide us and be the gatekeeper for us. And the service then that you get, and that's, you sabotaging it by putting a friend in a lot of the time, unless that person is a birth worker and you can get clear boundaries. So yes, just saying. But I love that as a, you know, as a dad. I just wanted to
put that in there.
Just got to say that. Yeah, because, you know, like, it is really important. Doulas are one of the most evidence-based and effective tools in the room for improving birth satisfaction, reducing interventions, as is home birth as a gold standard for improving health outcomes and, again, increasing maternal satisfaction. So, yeah, you chose well, but you stepped into it as well consciously. And, yeah, I love everything about your story. I really appreciate you coming on to our podcast and sharing so beautifully. And, you know, people can follow if they want to. Are you a private account or are you a...
No, I'm public.
You're public. It's This Is Donna with little dots between it, because, yeah, the way you've written about the whole journey so far, I think is it's very touching. It touches something deep.
And I have recorded, yet to release, but I've recorded a whole podcast on conscious conception.
Cool.
And I will record one on what we did leading up to birth. And I will put that out there as my podcast when I get a chance.
What are you doing, Miss?
There's no rush. I'll let you go and feed your little boo-boo.
Thanks.
The other one's down there is hungry too.
Oh, yeah, Billie's hungry too.
The other doggy. Well, thank you so much for being with me just down the road, only 4 hours away. But yeah.
Hopefully we can come down and see you. We'd love to.
Yeah, come and hang out at paradise, from one paradise to another.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Great to see you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, beautiful people. Go and enjoy your day. Thank you so much.
We will.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
I'm Nadine Richardson, and you've been listening to the She Births Show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. We'd love to know what you would like to hear more of. You can find me and my team of amazing doulas and educators at shebirths.com and our awesome community on Instagram and Facebook. Within any good app store, you can download our free pregnancy guide via She Births, 2 separate words and plural, as well as access our range of online courses. Remember, when it comes to having a better birth, an easier transition into parenthood, your education is your empowerment. Don't forget to check out the catalogue of previous podcasts, and thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show.